Crystal?
What? Oh, just a letter.
Who is it from?
Just someone. Does it matter? It was slipped into my hand as we were walking here.
I didn't see anyone approach.
The streets were crowded. But what is this, Fidela? An inquisition?
Dearest Crystal, you know I don't like this any more than you do, but it's my job. I'm supposed to keep an eye on you.
What is a tray, Father, if you close the other eye?
Well, you know I hate to snoop, but he is rather a fuss budget, isn't he? The dear. But Crystal, he's right. A young girl can't go roaming about unprotected like a fawn in the forest.
You call Father a dear. Well, he's certainly costing me dearly. Oh, Fidela, why can't you let me be more like a fawn? That is to say, free. Don't fawns at least get to learn about savage animals? Where's the safety in ignorance? If Father's thoughts really were in my interest, I'd love him for it. Perhaps. But you know he's thinking only of himself. He exalts self-interest to the level of a creed. He's against anything that isn't to his own advantage.
Oh, not everything, dear. He wants your happiness.
He wants his own convenience. That's why he wants me to sit around doing nothing and getting bored.
He wants you to be complete in yourself.
And so ends the shortest story ever told.
According to his philosophy, the ideal human being is self-reliant, centered within, and capable of soaring high above life's storms.
In short, my father is his own highest ideal, opinionated, self-centered, and loftily indifferent to everyone's feelings but his own.
Well, dear, I must admit, your father is rational to the point sometimes of not being reasonable. Still, I find him lovable. Well, perhaps because to me he's still a bit of a boy.
But would you obey a boy? Oh, Fidela, Father told you to keep an eye on me. Well, if beauty's in the eye of the beholder, as we're told, maybe other things are too, like distrust and suspicion. And since you have two eyes, not one, maybe if you trained one eye to see goodness, your other eye could learn a few lessons from it.
It is the mind that beholds beauty, Crystal, not the eyes. It is the mind that evaluates what the eyes see. And dearest, I've only one mind, not two. Your father has told me what to look for.
But Fidela, you've heard people say they're of two minds about something. Can't your mind persuade your vision to be versatile? Why should both your eyes give you the same message? And your ears. You could hear my words with one of them, but listen to the music of my heart with the other one. Restrain me with one hand, but let the other hand loosen the leash. Scold me if you must, but then smile to show me we're still friends. Here's what I suggest. You could say, Crystal, you shouldn't be reading letters from strangers. But still, Crystal, if they write to you, can they be such total strangers? Or, Crystal, you must be careful with whom you converse. Oh, but after all, Crystal, it always behooves one to be polite.
You're asking me to be equivocal?
Multi-leveled, Fidela. Not equivocal. Isn't reality itself multi-leveled? A toy sword in the hands of a child isn't at all the same thing as a real sword in the hands of a soldier. A letter, even from a young man, is only words. Ink stains, one might say, on a sheet of paper. It's how we react to what's written there that matters. Ah, there you have it. It's how the mind evaluates what the eyes see that matters.
Oh, it's clear you aren't of two minds at all.
Oh, Fidela, I'm dying to read you this letter. Can't you forget for a moment that you're my governess and just be a woman, a friend? Can't you see how important it is that we women stick together?
Well, I must admit I'm dying to know what's written there. Well, all right, dear. After all, the human race is of two minds, male and female, and sometimes it's more convenient for us to keep men from knowing what our minds are thinking. Do read me the letter. And I'll keep one ear, well, if not deaf, at least hard of hearing.
Mind you, the letter means nothing to me.
Oh, of course not, dear, of course not.
The young man's name is Mary. I have no idea who he is.
Then how do you know he's young?
Well, I mean, that is, I've caught glimpses of him here and there, though we've never spoken. I did once catch him smiling at me, but he's very shy. Listen to what he says. Dear Crystal, dear, oh, how wonderfully he writes! I have seen you from time to time, but always, I'm sad to say, from afar. He's sad. The poor boy. Fidela, it's wrong not to comfort people in their sadness. I find you an inspiration to look at, but till now I haven't dared come and speak to you. An inspiration? He hasn't dared. Oh, Fidela, men are so quaint. May we please meet sometime? You may answer me in care of someone we both know. His name is Ponder. Why, there you have it, Fidela. He knows Ponder. We know Ponder. Why, that makes Mary practically a friend of the family.
Bosom, my dear, truly bosom.
This letter isn't from a stranger at all. Yours truly, Mary. Yours truly. Why, he's practically plighted me his troth. Oh, Fidela! Such depths of faithfulness in one so young must certainly be admired.
My dear, I think it's high time we return to the ground floor. I don't want to scold you, but I do think you must exercise a little caution.
I'll be cautious, all right. I don't want Father to find out. He's a very pretty person for one so young. Father!
What are you two doing here? Don't you know the importance of this occasion? In a few minutes, the lords of the allied clans will be convening here in our ancient forum. It's a great honor for Clan Amethyst, but there is no place here today for women.
Are you saying women deserve no honor, Father?
On the contrary, woman is worthy of every honor when she remains at home, caring for it with the devotion one would lavish on a temple.
Temples are public places. In other words, people are welcome in them. And there ends any resemblance to our home.
The home in which you were raised is a shrine to the noblest principles.
Bigotry, self-centeredness, indifference.
Lord Kovar will be here at any moment. Leave quickly now before he arrives. I don't want him thinking that I regard this historic occasion as a family outing.
Will you be coming soon, Sardak?
Lord Kovar is my brother-in-law. I anticipate that he will want me by his side during the formalities. I expect, therefore, that I shall be returning late.
Well, do see that you don't tire yourself. You will take yourself so seriously.
Well, obviously, if things are important, then they are serious. Everything one does is, or ought to be, important. Therefore, as far as I'm concerned, everything is serious.
And only as far as you're concerned, which is to say, only as far as it concerns you. It's your very self-involvement, Father, that makes you so somber.
Pertinent child! I'm self-concerned, not self-involved. How can a person be light-hearted when the whole world is out to snatch from him all it can? Self-honesty, I always say, is nothing but self-interest, I always say, is nothing but self-honesty. And concern for one's fellow man, it's a cowardly sham, an underhanded means of getting one's own way. Cooperation, I always say, is compromise made by the weak-hearted. And if caring for myself makes me somber sometimes, well, a little somber, that's because it is no easy task, fending off the self-serving demands people make of one. Yes, And that's something else I always say to those who are eager to study my philosophy. Self-interest is good when it concerns one's own needs. By definition, therefore, it is bad when it concerns the needs of others.
Kind sir,
You don't know me. By what presumption do you call me kind?
I'm sorry.
This is not an occasion for sorrow, and I'd like to make it clear that kindness is completely foreign to any sound philosophy.
Oh, I'm sure you're very kind, sir, really. If you weren't so well-meaning, you wouldn't announce your failings so openly to others.
Failings, you say? Yours, madam, is the failing. You fail to conceal from me the fact that you meant nothing whatever by describing me as kind. All you wanted was to slyly wheedle out of me a piece of information which, as it happens, I see no reason for withholding. You are dressed in the colors of Clan Topaz. It's obvious why you're here. Yes, this is today's meeting place of the clans.
Then this is your ancient forum?
It is, and Lord Kovar will be here at any moment to initiate the proceedings.
It's a bit of a ruin, isn't it?
It's a total ruin. My mince words. There's no roof. The walls collapsed centuries ago. One must watch carefully where he walks, lest he sprain an ankle.
But why? I mean, Lord Kovar calling such an important meeting in a place like this?
Lord Kovar is my brother-in-law. Everything he does is reasonable. As it happens, all his important councils are held here. Our ancient forum may be a ruin, but in it have been enacted the most vital laws in the long history of Clan Amethyst. The influence of tradition is so potent at this spot that we count on it to guide us in every cornerstone deliberation.
The feeling is a bit oppressive. It doesn't seem to welcome our traditions. Is your Lord Kovar open to the cooperation that has been proposed lately by our Lord Kristar?
If Lord Kovar, my brother-in-law, has the wisdom to be guided by me, he will recognize and accept that your lord, able leader though he showed himself in war, with our assistance, of course, has thrown both caution and common sense to the four winds.
I see. Well, we are here to see to his accommodations in the town. Perhaps we shall meet again. Good day to you, sir.
What a dry wind.
Cooperation. Vultures all. No one would talk such nonsense if he weren't nurturing ulterior motives.
The others must be coming soon. I passed two of Kristar's people as I approached. Oh! Sardak! Why are you here?
My brother-in-law, on this historic occasion, I knew that you would want me by your side.
What for?
Why, I'm noted, I think, for a certain philosophic skill, a talent which may be handy to you during today's deliberations.
You philosophize your wife, my sister, into an early grave. It is not my pleasure that you so treat this conference. Return to your home.
My lord, I predict disaster.
Go home!
Well met, Lord Kovar.
Lord Voltar, greetings and welcome.
In all this wide star-witness world, there can be no greater fulfillment than the pleasure of sharing with you, Lord Kovar. This historic occasion. Oh. The plan, I understand, is to contemplate some new type of peace treaty, one based on cooperation. A curious concept. Yep, I hasten to add, one that I'm all for, with the very small proviso that prime attention be given to that which is one's own by right.
Hoftar,
Lord Loftar.
At last we meet together. What an auspicious hour. Could anyone have hoped mere days ago that ours would be the victory and ours then the peace? Lord Kovar, it is a joy to see you. Lord Voltar, I'm honored. Lord Loftar, I called ahead to you as we arrived, but you didn't hear me.
I heard. It seemed to me, however, that a separate entrance would be grander for Lord Christar, the great convener of today's conference.
Why? Are we not equals?
There speaks our great commander-in-chief. Condescension comes naturally to one accustomed to being in command.
Loftar, brother, who would denigrate the altruistic motives of our noble Christar? Let us not begin this auspicious day with dark suspicions.
Don't misunderstand me, please. I am aware that Lord Christar's victory is worthy of the highest respect, as a testimony to his outstanding cleverness. It behooves us all to reflect, however, that cleverness in the ruling of a clan is very different from that cleverness which is required to win a war.
No doubt you are right. Though speaking for myself, I prefer always to be led by truth. It has not been my way to rule by cleverness. Hear me, my brothers. I know once you've heard that any doubts which may have troubled you these days will be laid to rest. You'll be wonderstruck, all of you, as I was. When first this concept came to me, you'll recognize its beauty, its simplicity, its promise of a golden age to come. My brothers, shall we sit?
It is the honor of Clan Amethyst that these suggestions, may I call them, be presented in our hallowed forum.
What you'll hear, my brother, are not suggestions merely, but a solution to a problem that for centuries have plagued all our clans.
Clan Emerald has always wished that its neighbors saw matters with clear vision as you propose.
Our clans for centuries have fed on rivalry. Our very national anthems proudly boast a gory victory over unnamed enemies. Yet who are those enemies? Those clans, 4 in number, whom destiny has brought to share with us this fair crystal isle. Proudly we vaunted each clan our own unique superiority. Our clan Topaz sings. None other sings so well. So what have our people done? They've declared all others to be less meritorious than they. Clan Emerald dances. Others can't dance so well. Your patriots, Voltar, have therefore proclaimed that yours outshines in virtue every other clan. My brothers, cannot we look upon each clan as the bearer of some special offering to enrich the banquet of our shared existence here on Crystal Island?
Wise words, magnificent! Your idea is very much like one that I have always held, namely, that Clan Emerald's skills are such that the other clans ought forever be grateful to us.
You've given us the image of a banquet. May we dare hope that this banquet of yours will be one at which the food has a certain substance and is not a mere feast of words.
Obviously, Lord Christar's thought deeply about these ideas he is submitting to us. Dear brother, do speak on. There is pleasure in the very whisper of philosophical concepts. The more abstract always, the better.
I have a treaty written, which I'll submit hereafter to your judgment. But to give my concept greater substance, let me compare a nation to what is nearest to us, our own homes. We expect and even demand that our neighbors respect our privacy. We also claim, each one of us, freedom to direct our own affairs, to balance our own accounts, to discipline our own children, and to decide for ourselves how we shall spend our leisure moments. In no home anywhere do anthems ring out in boastful challenge to one's neighbors, nor is it heard of for the residents of one part of any village to invade another, to seize its homes and annex its territory. Living closely together as we do, known to one another, all of us rather do our best to live together in friendly peace and harmony. This then, brothers, is the essence of my plan, that we teach our people to view Crystal Island, beautiful that it is, green and fertile, so bountifully able to sustain us all as our village simply, that we who live here view one another lovingly too, as neighbors, regardless of the color of the clothes we wear.
A marvelous notion, but to your treaty, is it presumptuous of me to hope that it will prove not only marvelous, but also workable?
You spoke of this green island. Green surely is nature's favorite color. just as dance is her true mode of self-expression. See how she vacillates the meadow grasses, agitates the trees, nods proudly in the flowers.
The wind it is that moves them all, and wind, like our clan, sings also, laughs playfully, speaks to us poetically in rhyme, and teaches wisdom by not identifying itself with anything it touches as it goes its way. My brothers, all I ask is that you open your hearts to the realities of others. If what I say appeals to you, accept it not. I plead with you as mine, but as the herald of a long-awaited truth.
My lords, reflect. Could he have won this war with a rusty army of idle schemes?
Was not he alone who won the war? Let none forget the contributions we all made. Clan Emerald, especially.
A plant may overlook that it owes its life to the earth from which it sprang. But you, Lord Christar, are no such prideful plant. Your motives, it is well known, are pure. In any case, the issue is not how you won the war, but how we should proceed to carve the peace.
Carved! What a perfect image! When combined with that of a banquet, have you thought, Christar, how we should treat our enemy, Clan Azure, now that their offensive ambitions have been silenced?
A vital question for cooperation. Two must have a goal. The bonding agent of some reasonable purpose.
I know our traditions, how they hold it. War gives to the victor rights of spoil and recompense. But look back through the twisting lanes of history, how every vanquished clan, brooding on its shame, merely bided its time. Then, when stability returned to it once more, when crops were plentiful and shops were crowded with rich merchandise, the strengthened indices of a healthy commerce inspire the courage to hazard a revenge. Once again, the blood of young men soaked our battlefields, fields which in peacetime had been fertile meadows. Homes, their every brick laid, lovingly collapsed in ruin like so many homes before them. Women and children, defenseless, died in agony. Isn't the message clear? History has proved that vengeance is an idiot's satisfaction. Prosperity will be ours, only if, instead of claiming damages, we extend the hand of friendship and cooperation to all our enemies as well.
Are you saying we should not claim what is ours by ancient right? This surely is no reasonable purpose.
I shall be the first to renounce my own claims. Indeed, these claims were never ours by right.
What? A cage constructed by the Burden residents had better be checked twice for hidden doors.
Lord Loftar, your famed wit is welcome. Check what I say, I beg you, for hidden doors. Meanwhile, permit me to summon from beneath that massive oak where I left them Lord Antar and Lady Andala, his gracious wife. I have brought to you this day Clan Azure's recently appointed rulers. Please listen to their case. If, after hearing it, you are convinced Clan Azure's attitude has changed, that in fact most of their people never wanted war, but were coerced into it against their will, drawn unsuspectingly into a hurtling current from which after years they still found no escape, perhaps then you'll be willing to hear the unprecedented plan that I propose. My lord and lady, may I present your fellow rulers? You know their names, though not perhaps their faces. This, then, is Lord Kovar of Clan Amethyst.
My lord, my lady.
This, Lord Voltar of Clan Emerald.
My lord, my lady.
Here finally is Lord Loftar of Clan Ruby.
My lord, my lady.
At last, after centuries, our clans meet, drawn together by a dream of unity. I've told these men, our brothers, of your coming. Would you explain to them the circumstances under which you lived these recent years, and what your will is for the future of Clan Azure?
My lords, please. My lords, we are honored. Few there be who, distanced from Storlaw's rule, are aware of the weighty burden under which we groan. Lord Stolar was a monster, but you know that well. Those who spoke out against him suffered death. We too denounced him with righteous fire. Our case, however, was such, Stolar never dared execute us. We were too highly placed by birth, and also in the public's eye. Instead, he cast us into a reeking dungeon, there to live with marauding rats and murderers, hunger, cold, and coarsened dignity. After the war, we were discovered with other so-called traitors, released, recognized, welcomed with shouts of joy, then reinstated to our former roles. At last, with acclaim, our people made us their new rulers. Our plan now is to undo the endless harm Stolar did. Emerging from our prison, we were horrified to learn of the great numbers of our countrymen, though never cast in dark dungeons, suffered equally, many far worse than we.
If there's a special hell where rotting souls suffer more greatly than all the other damned, twisting in agony, shrieking mercy, which never shall soothe their parched and aching brows, may Stolar's wretched residue, like a sack of putrid grain, be flung into its red, reeking floors.
My dear wife. What an anathema. If we too hope for mercy, must not we too be merciful? Stolar's soul is not his tormented person. Within each man, however dark his deed, dwells an unconscious angel. We must let God determine by what tortuous path Stolar must climb to achieve at last his own high destiny. Meanwhile, Andela, ours is the task to live in goodness and to make amends for all that in evil's name he did, to destroy not men's bodies only, but their minds, their faith in life, in God, and in themselves.
My dearest husband, forgive me, please, I beg you. Our dearest, our only son is dead, slain by Lord Stolar's brutal thugs. Our sufferings have been too great to be forgotten lightly. Yet, in my heart, I know that forgiveness is the way to inner freedom.
Your attitude, Lord Antar, is beyond reproach. Yet, Lady Andilla's hatred is, I must admit, rather more after my own heart. It gives me hope that in future, our two peoples may be friends, for it makes you human.
Sir, I'd rather be defined by my potential for improvement than by my weaknesses. The bitterness I feel is my shame. It is not my pride.
Dear wife, your words touch me deeply, for happiness is possible only in the giving of ourselves to others. We find true happiness when our sympathies expand, and when, by giving, we forget ourselves.
I pray that the future of our peoples grow and flower in a soil of love.
There seems to be a tide here gaining resistless force. Wisdom dictates that for now, we swim with the impetuous flow.
I too am thinking of the risk when a wagon goes careening down a slope of leaping from it to doubtful safety on the hasty, unwelcoming ground.
Lord Christar, I would not have you think that I oppose anything to which we all agree.
Tell us, Lord Christar, what is your plan for a lasting peace?
I've spelled it out on paper, which I'll distribute later for your study. The strength of this plan, however, is more in the change of consciousness for which it calls. First, I would ask you to absorb its essence. For the important thing is that we agree in principle that our clans try henceforth to live by the consciousness of peace and fellowship, not merely by the letter of the written treaty. My plan is that we embrace one another in a spirit of goodwill, that we treat our island home as we do our own villages, with the same love, with the same sense of stewardship.
I see. So your proposal, whatever our apprehensions until now, is after all quite simple. I'm sure it will prove acceptable.
But don't you think we should...
No. Why should we think at all? Lord Christar has spelled it out for us in principle. Whatever it contains that seems impractical, we will no doubt find addressed in the formal peace treaty that he is proposing. Meanwhile, I think we can state quite confidently that all of us endorse his plan in principle.
Forgive me, but wouldn't our endorsement in principle seem rather like a purveyor of wonder medicines beginning his presentation with the word frankly?
I see neither expression as prejudicial. Human intercourse would be but an empty husk, were it not for affirmations, at least of goodwill.
My friends, my dear friends, I repeat, I see no reason not to accept this plan in principle. Naturally, we must see it spelled out more exactly in the treaty that our Lord Christar has brought for us to study. Meanwhile, surely, the sentiments he has expressed are excellent.
I am thrilled to receive your support. Tomorrow, we'll meet again. Then we'll all sign the treaty that will bind our clans to peace.
It fills me too with joy to see that Stolar's seeds of war have metamorphosed, purged in the brilliant sunlight of pure intentions, to grow into a plant that bids fair to nurture the whole island and bring forth fruits of peace, prosperity, and goodwill to all the clans as never in history before.
We'll see. The influence of this foolish glee was such that it seemed wiser for the moment to submit. Yet, the centuries have their influence too, and fixed tradition, contained like a vapor within these ancient columns, will surely chloroform this presumption of excessive novelty. Ways can be mastered best by those who go with them, rise when they rise, and ride with the rolling crest.
Peace! May it flow out like a gentle tide, softening men's hearts and turning them to kindness, cooperation, and tranquility. May the shepherd's distant note waft on peaceful breezes to the towns, freeing men's feelings from the urgency of grasping need and recalling them to their own soul's simplicity. Life reflects back to us our attitudes. May our people, by their peacefulness of heart, bring true peace at last to Crystal Island.
Holy Father, I hoped I would find you here. May I please speak with you?
Gazella, daughter, I am pleased to see you. What news is there? Have the clans agreed to discard the threadbare jacket of clannishness? Have they realized that their fulfillment lies in sharing, never in hoarding for themselves?
I have not heard yet, Father. As you know, I live somewhat apart from crowds, to give my mind the freedom to soar in God.
To live apart from crowds and human events need not separate you from human needs. True love for God develops naturally into love for all his children.
Father, it is just on this point that I've come to you for help. I love mankind with a love impersonal. What then, if one out of all others returns my love with a more personal sentiment? Is it wrong for me to love not mankind only, but one man especially?
To see in any one a symbol of all the rest is a path to higher wisdom.
And yet, in the comfort of one love, I fear, lest my soul's freedom become trapped in a cage. Oh, Father, my soul would embrace the stars. It would fly and gave formation with the swallows, crying out to them in flight, "My dear ones, we are sisters all." It would soar over snowy mountain ranges and call down, "Friends, you are my brothers." To the ocean's surf it would shout, "Let me break, laughing with you, onto sparkling sandy beaches. We are one." It would see God everywhere, thank God for everything, and whisper to him always, "I am thine, thine alone, ever thine."
Daughter, you are blessed. That love is highest which renounces boundaries and looks with equal gaze on man and woman, on young, old, rich and poor, saints and sinners, on animals, rocks and trees, all as children of our one common Father.
Love is the path by which God has drawn me to become one with him. I want to express this love in the way most pleasing to him. Might it be possible to find, in human love, a bridge to God's infinite love?
I have seen love that was focused first on another human being inspire the lover in time to expand his sympathies till it included everyone. Thus he learned that the separate part was but a small expression of the whole. The rose speaks to our hearts not of itself alone, but of all flowers, of nature everywhere. Abstractions appear vague to many human minds until clarified by concrete examples. The depths of love are not plumbed in the ripples of a merely human passion. Human love is self-expanding only when it beholds the eyes, the smiles, the gestures of the beloved as windows only beckoning outward to infinity.
Holy Father, his name is Ponder. Several times lately I've caught him watching me. The last time, his eyes said that he loved me.
You could love him, yet not lose sight of your soul's deeper purpose. If you remembered always to love Ponder, a good man, I know him well, not for himself alone, but for the love of God.
I will reflect on your words, Father. Thank you for taking the time to share the fruits of what I sense has been a hint of your life's experience as well.
Forgive me, Father, for bursting in upon you like a summer squall. I come bearing good news. The peace is assured. Lord Culver and the rest have agreed that by cooperation alone can all the people of this island prosper.
Good news indeed. Then have they signed the peace treaty?
Not yet. They meet tomorrow to discuss the specific terms the treaty spells out for us.
I pray the job gets done. For too long now has peace been looked upon as a condition merely when man, for a time, was no longer committed to killing his fellow man. Too often during times of war, this kind of peace is recalled nostalgically. People remember the flowering meadows, but forget the wet grass, the dust-raising wind, the mosquitoes that can rob an evening of its felicity. They see quaint, flower-boxed villages, but forget the all-too-human villagers, each with his private peeves and bitterness, his selfish wants, his petty pride, his secret insincerity. Let us pray that what the Lords have embraced in principle they'll affix their names to and commit themselves.
They can't block it now, Father. That would be too cruel. All the people want is kindness, cooperation, and yes, love. It's time our clans became good friends.
Want must be seasoned by commitment to the higher demands of principle. Emotions and events that are consequent on them are like waves, cresting for a time, soon they crash in a foam of separating bubbles. Even so, the desire for peace and events that are inspired by that desire must in time lose force and disappear if peace is sought merely because today people want it and are tired of war.
Indeed, Father, we must all act with faith that what we hope for is both right and true.
On wings of prayer, then, let us send out blessings of faith and of divine love for all.
I came here for another reason. I was expecting someone. I was hoping you would bless us specially.
I'll leave you now, Father. I am deeply grateful for your counsel.
His name is Starlon. His clan until only days ago was that of my sworn enemy. But to him for years now I have pledged my love.
I shall be pleased to meet him. Does he know this place?
He passed here a few days ago. I see him coming now.
Oriel, I received your message. Is it really true? Are our people indeed free now to move across all boundaries as they will? To befriend whom they like, without being fear of being labeled traitors? Will our love receive at last the sanction of both our clans?
It is true, my love. At last we can be married and live our lives with song and poetry, our sweet companions, each giving to each, and in the act both rising nightly on moon rays of constant happiness toward heaven, there to embrace the stars.
I thank God I've survived to live this golden hour. Many times in battle, when it seemed our victory was assured, I confess I tried to expiate our clan's great sin, at least in part, by my own destruction. But fate willed otherwise. On one occasion, I recall, I even dropped my sword, inviting death. Just then, my adversary was attacked from another quarter and forced hastily to defend himself.
Your life now could be a much greater expiation in service and in love.
Love itself shall be my expiation.
So shall it be. And though we clothe love in our own fancied forms, yet love also, like the wind, is not fettered by any form. Listen, love calls to us from the very mists of death. Death itself dies when pierced by love's sword.
Love, it seems to me, stripped naked like the wind, can be clothed in new forms by death. Father, before the war, I lost my dearest parents, slain in the tyrant's holocaust. Love, however, has been preserved for me, proving itself the victor after all.
My children, you both have my blessings. May your union be founded not in human sentiments alone, but on lasting principles.
From our hearts, we thank you, Father. Oh, Oriole, the minutes have seemed to hang like glowing lanterns from the waving trees, lighting a long forest trail toward this shining moment.
Sweetest, I have a song, written in the slowly fading twilight, as though wakeful I sat dreaming of this long-awaited moment. May I sing it to you?
Dearest, of course, meetings were made for singing, especially when two hearts are conjoined in love.
Two souls were conceived at night, ere stars in the sky gave light, ere planets were born, ere hearts could know scorn. Together they danced in God's sight. Up pathways of radiance they flew, before them bright stars they strew. Deep seas and vast plains, men's joys and men's pains, all these in perfection they knew. Their love called them down from the skies, to live here on earth in disguise. They seem mortal now, yet remembering their vow, they ever maintain their soul ties.
Dearest, the song is beautiful.
You like it? I'm so happy.
I don't know that my own thoughts waft downward from such lofty regions, yet surely they aspire to the same heights. I, too, have written you a poem, but let me speak first from my heart, as love suggests the words to my mind.
I have no objection to poetry, I assure you. What girl wouldn't want to hear her lover express his love for her in rhyme?
But aren't rhymes too much an artifice? Love's like a bounding waterfall, shunning embankments of any kind.
What would you say that the bruises which the unpracticed bard inflicts on his poor groaning instrument have greater meaning than that evoked by fingers trained through practice to express the subtle nuance of feeling?
What are art's nuances if not the dying embers of actual sentiment? How often the best poetry is written, not in the heat of passion, but long after the fire has cooled, its charred wood alone remaining to serve as a pencil for composition.
But reflect, is not living too an art? Passion, when uncontrolled, prevents a man from living up to the highest that is in him. Without artistry, human feeling would remain merely vague and brutish, expressing itself in exasperated grunts. Art alone brings clarity to meaning.
Well said, my love. And art is born when inspiration can prolong its ardor, burning fiercely still, even though cooled by the snows of contemplation. Well, but first, love, let me give you words pulled from a blazing furnace. Later, I'll give you poetry. My sweet, as I was coming here, I heard a nightingale. Its liquid notes, like ripples on a flowing brook, in the stillness of full moonlight, bore my heart's feelings before me to this place. A mariner I heard of once, who roamed the earth in search of happiness. His ship touched on distant coral coasts. It entered turquoise-colored seas and docked in tropic palm-encircled harbors. He crossed vast sandy deserts with the caravans, trudged over mountain passes in search of fabled hidden valleys. He sailed on mighty rivers through terraced fairylands, through proud, towered, majestic cities, and past peaceful, humble villages, where the country folk at sundown gather to sing, laugh, and tell stories, echoing some far-off golden age. The mariner returned at last to Crystal Island, convinced, after many years of roaming, that all the happiness he'd ever sought was his, not for voyaging, but for ceasing to think of happiness as far away from him. How great, then, is my own good fortune, that happiness has come to me unsought, that it sits here, clothed in loveliness beside me, and lives not in empty fancy on some distant shore. In you, my heart knows a completeness that no matter where I go, goes with me, filling my thoughts with inspiration, even as a friendly wind fills the sails of a sea-braving vessel. This sense of fulfillment makes me feel that even on distant coasts, I'd always be at home.
If this be not poetry, my love, I marvel to think what exotic words, like birds of brilliant plumage that flit in bright streaks of light through a rainforest, you mean to import here to dim the beauty of your impromptu speech.
The words I've written have merit, if any, not for their beauty, but for the fact that my sincerity while writing them burned ever fiercely as I struggled to enclose it in some proper form. Dearest, when I think of thee, heaven opens, and I see shafts of light upon the earth. All then seems of noble birth. Kindness then appears divine. Human error then benign. Goodness rules the universe. Men a higher love rehearse. Thoughts of you my peace assure. Calm my heart and make it pure. Even so, your actions screen all in life that's base or mean.
Dearest, when I think of thee, heaven opens and I see shafts of light upon the earth. All then seems of noble birth. Shafts of light upon the earth. All then seems of noble birth. Kindness then appears divine, human error then benign. Goodness rules the universe, men a higher love rehearse. Goodness rules the universe, men a higher love rehearse. Thoughts of you my peace assure, calm my heart and make it pure. Even so your actions screen all in life that's base or mean. Even so your actions screen all in life that's base or mean. May we live our lives in service to all mankind and in love with all that is good, true, and beautiful.